I think a lot of times families have a hard time with accepting the fact that their kid is in this position. I think that sometimes families have a hard time taking blame. They have a lot of guilt. They feel that there is something that they did to create this in that child. The drugs and the alcohol are, again, are the solution. They're not the problem. And a lot of times the problems can come from things that are even bigger than that, like bullying in school, separation, divorce. There are mental health issues that come up that aren't addressed early on in life. There is a part that the family does have to play. What I would always tell family members is that one of the best things you can say when you're looking at all of this is trying to identify what part did you play and what part the client plays. Because the client can manipulate and say, well, I'm this way because of what you did to me. The reality is it's kind of like if someone slaps me in my face, I feel pain. What I choose to do with the pain is my responsibility. So if I'm hurt by any person or anything, that pain that I have is based on that individual. What I choose to do with it is my responsibility. So if I use drugs and alcohol, it is not my family that is the reason I'm using drugs and alcohol. That is my choice for coping. But if there are some issues within the family, because divorce can create an issue in the family that creates issues of loss, detachment, lack of trust, those emotions I will identify and say these are emotions we need to look at healing as a family. Most family members get so caught up into the disease of the addict that they begin to spiral down. And the downward spiral is the family member jumping on the spiral trying to fix, rescue, and protect their loved one. And one day they wake up and go, whoa, wait a minute, what happened to my life? I mean, I don't go to the gym anymore. I don't have any friends anymore. I'm working all the time. I'm having physical symptoms. Basically, you put your life on hold. And the way you do that is trying to save someone that you can't save. And I think it's very difficult for family members to just walk away. So it's important that a family member realize that things have happened in their life that they need to try to work on. Al-Anon, Nar-Anon, some family anonymous. This gives the family members an opportunity to realize that they're not the problem, but to identify their own problems. Problems in enabling, things like that where a family member can just put their life on hold. Families need to begin to rebuild themselves to the point where if you have two children, one is an addict and one isn't, the addict seems to get all the attention. The addict is the one you focus on to the point where the family begins to revolve around the addict. And the one who's doing well is sitting there waiting for you to say, hey, what about me? But we kind of forget about them sometimes because they're doing well, everything's good. We got to deal with your brother. We got to go to your brother. We got to get him out of jail. We got to go pay debts for him. I'm sorry, we forgot about you. And to the point where those family members, those kids look at you and say, it's okay. I understand. But then you have those who also say, well, if I act out, maybe I can get some attention. So you have to begin to work on the family to make sure that those things that were lacking because of focusing on the addict, that they begin to be put back into place before the addict even comes back to the home. Healing is very painful also. And when you're healing, I kind of look at it like you grab a cut. When you get a cut, it hurts. You see the pain. You become aware of it. In other words, you begin to feel the pain. That's the first part of healing, is feeling the pain. Families have to begin to work with each other to begin to clean out all the garbage and all the bacteria, all the stuff that has happened over the family. In other words, the lying, the stealing, the manipulation, the lack of trust. It takes time. In the healing process, the most important thing I can think about when it comes to the healing is recognizing that there's still going to be some emotional scars, just with a cut. You have a cut, you get it stitched, and later on you got a scar on your arm. The difference when you've healed from a situation is that cut no longer has any power, but yet it still has a scar. For us, it's the emotional memories that we have of the days when they used to go out and wouldn't come home, the nights when you sleep with the phone next to you and are afraid every time it rings. That's the healing process. But again, it takes feeling the feelings, dealing with the feelings, which is acknowledging the pain, going through the pain to the point where after you go through it, now you are allowing yourself to get back control and not letting the pain of whatever happened have the control, because most of the situations have had the control over our lives. They control the way we think, we eat, we sleep, we process, we give up our lives as family members. But when you begin to heal, you begin to get power back, and the disease no longer has power over your life. And now you got to begin to heal again, where you begin to realize that you need support, that you need friends, that you want to be able to be comfortable being in this position. So healing is a very important process.